Hello Overclockers and welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?
Hello everyone and welcome back to EPIC38. My name is Connie and of course, alongside today, Panda Richie. Panda, how are we doing?
Doing very well, Connie. Hello, nice to be
here
with you.
I think it's our first time on the desk together, if I'm not too wrong.
It is our first time on the desk together.
Can I just say, you look absolutely gorgeous in person.
Oh, thank you. I mean, he's...
If you're going to sub for this guy. That's all I'm going to say.
No. You too much praise. It's this man that you want, that's for sure.
And that is what we're about here at Epic. Now, today is the Eco round. Of course, on the first day when I was on, we're talking about the pistol round where we're just breaking down StarCraft, Valorant, and CSGO, splitting the brackets, who's involved, sort of how things are panning out. Well, now it is the Eco round where, of course, we've concluded group stages and round robins, started with playoffs as well yesterday, and we're looking now into how things are progressing in the three main games. Now, of course, StarCraft is first on the agenda. Now, in terms of StarCraft this year, we've had an 11-time champion, Roscoe, and now we are pretty much going to have a dark horse here in the form of Jumi. Jumi, seed 2, I believe, is on the other end of bracket. And what we're going to be seeing essentially is a potential upset here because Jumi's come from Germany all the way at the K10. And I think it's his first LAN internationally.
Crikey.
And essentially what we have to keep an eye out for is the real upsets that could potentially be caused here. Because the way it is, Jumi's gone undefeated in groups. And even throughout it all, Roscoe's been avoiding him throughout the majority of the tournament. Even when it comes to the seeding, when you look at the bracket, Roscoe is on the other end. So what can that kind of suggest, maybe?
Oh, I mean, for Jimmy to just be like the dark horse and cause an absolute upset, it's going to keep everyone on their toes. He's kind of just putting himself like on a target on his back. He's really putting himself out there, but he's putting on a really, really good show. And if he keeps going like this, who knows, he could take it all. Like you said, it's his first international LAN. He's already second seeding. He's putting on a really strong performance from what it looks like. And he's just come in here all guns blazing, and he's looked like the momentum's just not going to stop for him.
I mean, we also had a conversation as well on the first day. I had Molten on stage. Molten, who filled me in pretty much on how StarCraft is panning out and things are going on. Again, we can really accent Jumi, but the way things are also panning out as well. When it comes to winners bracket, we're also looking quite interesting. We have Zane, Miss2, Bellator, Razorblader, Elgar, and Jumi and Figaro currently in the bracket as well, and I believe Roscoe as well joining in up there in top 8. But the way things are panning out for StarCraft, I believe finals are today. So we'll see StarCraft conclude completely and the entirety of the tournament go on. But in the lower bracket, I think things are also looking a little bit spicier as well, with a little look down here and pan up. Yeah, indeed, because Martin, the guy I spoke to on day one, is lost winners round 1, currently in losers. And, of course, the games have kicked off at 10 o'clock in the morning today for StarCraft. And you'll be seeing Countess, Voltaicus, Chaotic, Marsbar, Molten, Frugs, and Alcy all fight their way through the gauntlet of the lower bracket, which best of 5s in StarCraft, that's quite long-winded games.
They are, yeah. I mean, no one wants to be in the lower bracket, but someone has to be. Unfortunately, all these guys are the one down here. So they are really going to be having to put the money where their mouth is in order to get themselves through the lowers in order to try and get up into the finals later today. But looking from it, I honestly really don't know who could actually take it all the way through to the lowers. Who do you like?
So
out of the ones you mentioned,
I think Molten stands a chance. I mean, Molten didn't accept himself enough when I spoke to him on stage, but I do convincingly see maybe a T6, T4 placement in the StarCraft tournament. He even said as well that he'd get into the S bracket. There are 2 brackets, of course, S and A, and top 4 in each group go through to S. And the way it is right now in the play-ins, it seems quite mixy. I think Marsbar and Molten are very similarly matched. They have a lot of similar play styles. Voltaicus and Chaotic as well, very similarly matched. But either end of the bracket, you have very aggressive playstyle or very static playstyle. patience really is a virtue for a lot of these teams.
Yes, yeah, like they're going to need to really, they really need to pace themselves, especially because a lot of these best of fives, it's really going to take it out of them. So as long as they keep their composure, pace themselves, hope one of them will obviously eventually just get through. But who it's going to be, it's all looking really evenly matched in terms of seeding. So it's honestly, it's anyone's game.
Absolutely. I mean, you also had a chance, to be fair, in way getting through, but to really accent it, the StarCraft finals will conclude tonight at 9 p.m. on the Saturday slot here at Epic, so you can't miss that, of course. And even as well, we're still taking donations on Tiltify for wonderful charitable causes that are going on, and you can do that at tiltify.com/epiclan/epiclan38. Now, the other ones as well, we have Valorant on the chopping block as well, and that's why we hear a lot of them in our headsets right now, because their games are kicked off. You can tell when Valorant are playing right now, because they're always shouting something over there. I don't know if it's legal or not, but either way, Panda, we firm it.
Exactly. I don't know, like all we hear over at the back desk, we just hear a lot of noise, a lot of screaming, and on cue, on cue, perfect. Exactly. Oh, I mean.
Oh my! Someone called Erasmus.
Oh my god. Well, some team is actually doing really well. I mean, someone's got to be fragging out enough, surely. So let's have a look at the standings. Connie, if you want to just take us a quick run through.
Delightfully. So in terms of it all, the seeding was pretty spectacular. We, of course, Insight Gaming came here as seed 1. Last Epic, I saw them, and these guys were, I think they came 3rd or 4th, and they completely revamped the roster as well, because last time, you know, they came in, they definitely overachieved. They accepted a T6 placement, got T3 instead, but they brought in Trojans player Stokesy as the IGL, which I think is an excellent pickup as well. Stokesy had very close series against Le Petit Buffon and Vamonos, and heading into today, he's looking to try and at least qualify for Grand Finals. That is the goal, at least, for the side of ISG. And even that, they were undefeated in groups.
That's
still
true.
Game.
Yeah, Insight are looking really, really strong. A lot of the teams I interviewed earlier, they always mentioned Insight. Insight is looking like such a dominant force at the moment, and it really is showing. Like, they're doing really, really well. And like you said, adding Stokesy into the roster has just really elevated their team play. And Control Esports as well, they're looking pretty good as well, but it's going to be either Insight or Control going through into the upper finals, but that does not mean that they're out for the count.
Insight and Control, in my opinion, are top 1 and top 2 teams here. We saw their Pearl yesterday, it was overtime 14-12. Insight just about edged it, but it was very much round for round. I couldn't really see either team, you know, spectacularly winning that, because we saw Insight's games throughout the day being 13-1s, 13-3s, 13-5s, 13-4s. Control were on a similar end, but when it came into the latter portion of the day, the 7-hour mark of game time, it really showed in the teams. I sort of experienced a sensation where these teams were very much blind countering. It was very hard to adjust and adapt and even comprehend strategy, just based on how much energy I had left.
Exactly, yeah. It's just when it gets to so long in the day after just playing all the time, like the mental tax it takes on the players really starts to show. But some teams just can push through it. And speaking of some teams pushing through it, next in line, it's their 2nd LAN appearance, and I spoke to their social media manager, revamped some of their roster, and they're looking better than ever. They had a really, really close game against Control Esports yesterday. It was like 9-9, because they were next in line are a lower seeding. They weren't looking like they were expected to win, but it wasn't expected to be such a close game between the two. So next in line are looking like really, really strong, but they've got to really prove themselves up against Insight and Control, who are the top 2.
So next in line's interesting. This is the original K10 roster. Rudy, of course, is in this team, and Rudy was a sensation when I watched him last, EPIC38. And I think they finished out at T8, unfortunately, but they're definitely underdog. In terms of next in line, only losing to Insight, I think, and Control, if I'm not too wrong. But the way it also pans out, when you look at Gaming XD as well, that Insight played first. Gaming XD is the original Insight roster at EPIC37. I think Charlie there as well was the original IGL, and they were part of the team finished T3. I think Trojans, of course, accelerated beyond that and got further. But the way it was a grudge match heading into that winners round 1 game, and Insight won 2-0, and I think it was pretty much clear-cut 13-5, 13-3.
Oh crikey, yeah! So a bit of a cakewalk for Insight game, and nothing in terms of competition for them there. So hopefully later on, Control will really start giving them a run for the money. Like you said, like with how dominant Insight is, I think they just need a bit of competition to really know who else is here at the tournament.
Oh, indeed. But look, the lower bracket as well, kind of spicy. I mean, when you look at the teams like Swan Esports down the lower bracket, it's kind of interesting. Swan are brand new coming into this one. Lots of players on original rosters formulating a brand new org, and they're starting in lowers, but they managed to get through Team Down Bad, and now going to face Click in losers round 2, which is quite a step up in competition in terms of what to expect. Because Click again here came here, I think, at the 3rd seed.
Oh, crikey,
They're
yes.
in lowers, yeah, which is quite interesting. Lots of weird teams in brackets, lots of different play styles clashing Panda that you would expect, to be going through to, like, losers round 4-5 or winners finals. Just now and up in losers this early on.
Exactly. I mean, like you said, with how dynamic the brackets are, I mean, who knows? We could have a Cinderella story on our hands amongst these like lower bracket teams if they manage to just power through the gauntlet of the lower bracket. But we will have to wait and see for it.
And of course, these games as well are currently live right now. Checking was, I think, at 10 o'clock. So we're currently going through our winners round 2 games and our losers round 2 games. You can catch that as well online at twitch.tv/EpicLand2, I believe.
Yeah, I think, EpicLand 2.
For Valorant and for CSGO. But even at that, Valorant, the way it's sort of panning out, and it's going to be, these teams are qualifying for a spot in the Beacon. And eventually Polaris. I mean, right now we're seeing Le Petit Buffon, Vaminos, who played here, now playing in Polaris. And even at that point, when Le Petit Buffon won, they came in as clear favourites and they won it. Inns are coming in as clear favourites. Do you kind of see that sort of story happening, or is the Cinderella thing going to happen?
Honestly, either story would be great. I mean, I'm always kind of someone to root for the underdogs. A Cinderella story always makes for a good story, but a story of just sheer domination always is just something good to just put out there. It's like you want to hype up how strong the team is if they just made a complete run through of all the competition that has come today. But if we do get to see a Cinderella story, I will not be anything but happy.
Well, in terms of it all, the last but not least, it's going to be CSGO. Now, CSGO again looked very interesting on that day because lots of upsets and lots of shockers came through in that bracket when it did unfold. But when you're sort of looking at the way the CS went, if I can actually find it, the main talking point for CSGO was the fact that the Binman made it through the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they made it through the playoffs, and it is. Considering they've been to about 4 or 5 epics and got grouped every single time, a team actually made it through on, I think it was a 3-4 win-loss. And it just created what we would like to call an upset of the century for EpicLand and UK Esports.
Exactly. I mean, from as far as I'm aware, Binmen are historically known to not get too far. So, like, for them to get all the way through through playoffs, they're going to be really happy with that. So I think, well, hopefully for them, they can just keep that momentum going and just see how far it can take them.
I think the momentum will be interesting because when it comes to the upsets and all that sort of stuff, I mean, Shush GG got eliminated yesterday. Last game of the day, Shush GG got bowed out at 2-1 and no longer in the tournament, which is kind of concerning because you have Cripes in that team who's been around for decades at this point when it comes to UK CSGO and has the ability to go on and place relatively high in this, maybe top 6, top 4. Bows out straight away. So it's been very tumble dryer-esque in the CS scene at that point. Yeah, it's
like you said, if a team like Shush just going out, even though they look like so dominating, like who else is there to look out for? Like it could be for anyone. So yeah, we're looking at the lower bracket. So got the lower round 2s having to be played out. So amongst the lower round 2s, who do you think is going to be taking it all the way? Because I spoke to Finns. He says Legates is looking really, really good, as well as Jezzy's Red. They're looking pretty good as well.
Red, I think they actually beat K10 in the first game. I think they been 16-14. So, and K10 came in here like a seed 3. They were pretty good. Adam JC was shocked when he got that result handed to him, delivered on a platter, the first game of the day. But I mean, in terms of it all, I mean, K10 of course will be going through and facing Click, which is another interesting case of seeing Click in lowers again. When Click notoriously have got to winners semis and winners finals. This time in Epic, both teams, Valorant and CSGO, are in the lower bracket, and it's going to be a close one. I can see this going to a map 3, realistically. But Royals and J-Ra, Royals been interesting. Royals, they are unsigned, but at the same time, there are a lot of players there that should be considered as well to be picked up. That's my overall assumption and integration of Royals in this tournament.
Okay, so so we're looking like an orgless team, but really, really strong competitors. So hopefully they can put on a good performance. I mean, they got a 2-0 victory over 25 average. Let's see how they do against JR. And let's see how far they can make their way through the tournament. And just all the screams are just coming out today.
They are.
I mean, we're not even 11:30 in the morning, and all the energy is being hyped up in the event arena. It's what we like to see. It's what we're here for.
Oh, I know.
It's just...
That's still going on. It's 10 in the morning. It's 10 in the morning. Either way, Panda. Now, we're looking at Vitalize as well, and the Gates.
Yes.
Vitalize, I've known from my realm of Call of Duty. They're an organisation that's competed in the UK quite a bit, plays consistently T64 online, some relatively good rosters, good players. In CSGO, they come in here at quite a high seed as well, but they're in losers against the Gates. Now, Vitalize play Viperio, who came here at seed 1. They're the number 2 team in the UK right now, but if they win this tournament, they overtake ITB and become the number 1 team in the UK, which is, you know, what they're playing for here as well as the prize money. Yeah, you want that.
100%.
And the prize pool for this is the largest one here. It's £3,750.
That's a nice little paycheck going to those players.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money. You could do a lot with that.
What would you do with £3,750?
You know, I think I would actually, well, I'll probably pay off my student loan a little bit.
Pay it off, £3,750.
No, or whatever I've got to get out my overdraft with. So there's that.
That's good. Holiday, of course, on the cards. You know, setup upgrade. But again, between the 5 players, money as well going off to the European adventures this year. Being as well, you can see it's taken off the way it has. But even at the very top, this is interesting. 3 things, 3 friends and 2 foreigners and Care at the very top. And again, they're another team at the top, on par with Viperio. I think they took a map off of Viperio as well in winners, which kind of shook everyone a little bit because Viperio came in here. I think they were going to tour everyone. Yeah. FF take a map off them. Yeah, it's like... And it's the first as well. The first map that they got taken off for Crikey. I mean, all the way up until the upper quarters, I mean, Viperio probably are going to be shocked at that one, so they might have to probably not rethink their game strategy too much, because I'm pretty sure they're very, very confident in how they're going to be playing, because Viperio as well as Coalesce, they were the top 2 favorites from the very beginning, so they're looking like they're going to be putting on a really good show for us. But Viperio, I mean, they're going to have to just keep an eye out for the teams, because if they've got a map taken off and being so confident, then they're really going to have to keep an eye out. But the eyes as well will be on them, of course. And when it comes to the 4 teams and winners, E-Masters, Coalesce, Arctic Raptors, and Viperio, I mean, that's the top 4 seeds right there, which makes complete sense in my eyes. 100%. Never going to go anything against that. But yeah, I think the Arctic Raptors as well, coming all the way from Denmark, I believe. I think so. I mean, like, traveling a long way. And upper semi, but they're up against Viperio, so they've also got themselves a pretty tough match ahead of them. But looking at the winners bracket and the way it's panned out, look at E-Masters, Click, Coalesce and Viperio, all their games. Well, E-Masters, Arctic Raptors and Viperio, they gave us a 2-1. They should have 2-0'd Click, Legates, and 3 friends and 2 foreigners. But Sonny Coalesce actually managed to, stick to it. I think these teams came into the winners bracket and underestimated their opponents, and they all lost the first map as well. Yeah. Which is a really weird. So 3 reverse sweeps in that winners. Really? 3 reverse sweeps. Wow. So the teams woke up after map 1, which you can't really afford to do in playoffs, especially with what's on stake, because CS and Valorant finals we play tomorrow, of course, on the Sunday, closing out as well. So many some fun stuff, trophies and prize winning. I want a trophy in a long time, Panda. These guys, we're gonna get one. Yeah, I don't have a trophy to put on my shelf, so what were you into as a kid? Well, I never actually played video games when I was a kid. Me neither. Wasn't allowed. I got my first console at 15. I was 6 to be fair, but I did a lot of sports. Yeah, I did a lot of sports and maths. I love maths. I was a nerdy kid. Science for me, and PE. PE. Yeah. Remember double PE as well in school? Oh, that was great. Double science. I know what kind of person you were. You only came to school for the double science lessons. Well, it was more for like the double chemistry when we got to like chemical reactions and Bunsen burners.
But was it at a time when I accidentally shattered a Bunsen burner? We didn't realize putting cold water on a steaming hot clay pot on a Bunsen burner would do anything, and
clay hardens, and fire is not a good conductor. Well, it's a great conductor for clay, but
it's just don't put cold stuff on hot stuff. That's all I'm saying.
It's an important note, but as well, I think the way CS is looking in general, again, it's going to be a lot of competition. And thanks to the casting team as well, has been fantastic. Zola, CMD, Eternal J, Jammer, everyone over there. And even on Valorant side, we have Interior, Rook, has JC and Cairo. I mean, it's been pretty much intense. And you can all watch them on Epic Land 1 and Epic Land 2 today, because the way it's panning out, I think we're going to be seeing quite long-winded series here. The way the brackets are set up anyway is, of course, to cause some upsets. But we can definitely guarantee map freeze, especially after the way round 1 concluded. That's true, yeah. I mean, to be honest, like going into these latest, just finishing off, like going all the way to map 3 is something you want. We want those exciting matches, and we want those like gripping stories. Indeed. Well, either way, that concludes it for us as well on the Eco Round. And now we're going to quickly throw it off to a wonderful VT, and we'll see you very soon for the Gauntlet with Affinity.
welcome. Oh, screw this. Where's EPIC when you need him?